Right. Good morning.
Thank you.
How are
Good
you?
morning.
Good morning, everybody. This is Ms. Lisa-Maree Boticelli. Have I said that right, Lisa-Maree?
You have indeed.
Perfect. And Lisa-Maree is here with us today on day 2 to talk to us about limiting beliefs, money blocks, and all of those old stories that we tell ourselves that actually stop us from taking action and getting our consistent income. So welcome, Lisa-Maree. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Danielle. I'm really excited to be here, and thank you so much for inviting me. I've been really impressed with your group, actually, and I love the fact that you're focusing on creating consistent income, because I think that's such an important part, and I feel like you're a really big inspiration in that area.
Oh, thanks. Oh, I love that. Thank you. That's what I don't aim to be an inspiration, but you know, I really do have a lot of interests and I have a lot of background and stuff. And so that to hear that when you think consistent income, you think of me, I'm like, yes, mission accomplished. I'm doing something right.
You are indeed. And I actually love your energy and enthusiasm for this topic and helping people. That's what's impressed me the most about you and your group.
Oh, good. Well, thank you. I wasn't expecting such lovely feedback. Thank you. I'm feeling rather embarrassed, and I'm learning to take compliments, which is all part of this whole notion of like allowing abundance into your life, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, let it wash over you because you deserve it.
Yeah. There you go. It's interesting though, isn't it, Lisa? You have been, now tell me, what if we were to call you, are you a money mindset coach, or are you a mindset coach who happens to also work with people get through money blocks?
I'm essentially a mindset coach and money mentor. So I'm basically working with upgrading people's mindset and helping them to do that, and also to overcome money blocks and limiting beliefs. So it's all interweaved, I think. Okay,
wonderful. So because this challenge really is about money, do you mind if we just focus on that part? I'm sure some of the other parts will come in as well. I'm sure, as you've noticed, I talk mindset as well. And really what I'm trying to teach you to do is how to sell more stuff. So, I do find these, I didn't really hear about limiting beliefs around money until 3 to 4 years ago. So for me, this is a relatively new awareness. And so I've only been doing the work for a very short period of time. And I've uncovered, wow, these really infiltrate everything we do, don't they?
They absolutely do. It starts from a very young age, this verbal programming that we're all indoctrinated into. We hear things from our parents who have the best intentions for us, and they're really looking out for our interests. But it's like, hearing things like money doesn't grow on trees, or you can't have everything you want, or don't have that, you'll be greedy, don't be greedy, or stop being selfish, and those sorts of things. And we start to really take on that verbal programming, and that's where our limiting beliefs come from. And as I said, it's parents and our friends and culture have the ultimate best intentions for us, but just impressionable young children take things to heart. And as children, we develop these beliefs. Our family, our friends, our culture are so influential in giving us our belief system. And as adults, our task really is to clear those limiting beliefs and free up and be more empowered about and really achieve what we want for our life as well.
I grew up definitely believing that it takes a village to raise a child. That's a philosophy that I grew up inside. Actually, I had a beautiful experience in my evening. I'm going to call it a ritual, my evening ritual, where I was able to connect with my grandparents. And that was just a lovely, thing. So wonderful experiences in some ways and not so wonderful in others. But it does take a village. And so one of the things, so they come from our childhood, but then they really do actually kind of get reinforced even in our adult relationships, don't they?
They do. They do. So it's interesting because, and so when you say adult relationships, are you talking partnerships or more just friendships as well?
Even friendships. I can't, I was noticing a little while ago that a friend of mine expressed a degree of envy I wasn't expecting. And it was a degree of envy that expressed that somehow I hadn't earned it. And
Oh,
I
okay.
thought, wow.
Interesting.
But I don't think I would have recognized it prior to starting to do my own work
Yes.
on these. So I just think adult relationships, they reinforce it as well, don't they?
They absolutely do. And like, it's so interesting that you mentioned envy, because that's where those little kind of things start to come out that undermine our confidence in going for our dreams. So if someone's like, they see in their friends something that they would like for themselves, but they haven't actually done it. Maybe it's a fear or a limiting belief or something, so they hold themselves back. And when they see a friend doing it, it immediately triggers this envy, which is kind of like saying, I actually want that for myself, but I don't allow myself to do it. I haven't given myself permission, so you can't have it either.
That is a really profoundly interesting point, that I'm not allowed to have it.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
the envy is rooted in this belief that I'm not allowed to, therefore you can't. Oh,
yes.
that's wow. I wasn't expecting such depth. Thank you. That really is a really profound thing to recognize.
Yeah. And I mean, this is like, this money stuff goes really deep, and it's interesting, with relationships, they really are representative of like our relationship to money as well. So if we love ourselves, we love money, and we allow it to come in as well, and we don't stop it from flowing in. And so we will also have people around us that are a reflection of how much we love ourselves too. And so, I think when someone's trying to break free from some limiting beliefs and they're starting to say, hey, you know what, I'm actually going to give myself permission to have this. And then a friend who is envious comes along, and they're almost like, it's almost a challenge, really. It's to say, well, you've said you want this. You said you're going to step into this, but I'm going to show you my envy to really check out whether you really are going to go for it or not, or hold yourself back to where I am.
Oh my gosh, I love that. It's just kind of like, okay, I'm going to zoom myself out of this situation. I'm going to look at this from a different perspective, a neutral perspective of, oh, isn't that interesting that you did this? No, isn't that interesting that I'll do that?
Yes.
That is not as easy to do as you made it look.
Absolutely.
But wouldn't it be wonderful and helpful if we could?
Yes, indeed. And I love the way you've said to step out of the picture as well. And I don't know, like, I mean, relationships is such an interesting thing, because I don't know if you've ever heard of the Cartman Triangle.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, you've got persecutor, rescuer, victim. And in some ways, it's interesting just to kind of like presence that concept, because when we're not allowing enough money coming in, we're kind of holding ourselves in this victim position. And we're saying, you know what, I can't have everything in my life, so I'm going to stay in this spot. And by not giving yourself permission, you're almost like persecuting yourself as well, and keeping yourself stuck and holding yourself back. And then, our challenge, as I said, or our task is to kind of like remove those limiting beliefs, declutter them from your conscious mind and your unconscious mind. And it's almost like bringing in the rescuer side of yourself and going, I need to rescue myself from this persecution that I'm applying to myself, which is keeping me stuck as a victim, and go, the trick is to put a circle around that little triangle, step out, and send love to all of those little roles that we assign ourselves. And so I wasn't expecting to say that, actually, but I love how you said, I need to step out of it. And it just immediately made me think of that triangle, which is keeping us all stuck in relationships. And it also keeps us stuck in our relationship to money too. So I think it's a beautiful model to apply.
I agree. You've said a lot of interesting things, and I want to, like, there are like 5 threads in there that I want to kind of grab, but I can't.
There's a lot of threads.
We don't have time, and we can't give away all of your secrets.
Okay, yes.
We need to hold on to some things for reasons for people to hire you.
True.
That's an important, and really, I know I'm being silly because there's no way that in one 30-minute interview we could ever touch on all of the things that a person, the exploration, I'm saying, it's been 3 years that I've been working on this.
Yes.
You know, some through independent studies, some through just reflection, just on and on. One of the things I did find interesting, though, I think I watched you do an interview potentially with Tash Corbin.
Yes.
And I think in that I think I heard you talking about layers of beliefs that, you start to uncover when you go, oh, look, oh, there's those surface beliefs of, oh, money doesn't grow on trees. Money's the root of all evil. These
Yes.
common cliche phrases. You dig through those, oh yeah, I did hear those a lot growing up. And then you get down to the next thing and you're like, oh, where the heck did that come from? How many layers? So how could we know how many layers there are? Is this is just part of your new continuous improvement plan?
I would say it's a continuous improvement plan, and it's really a journey for life, really. When you step into the personal development arena as someone who's looking to grow, and if you're committed to it, it's a lifelong journey. And that's the beauty, really, because as kids, we learn things that don't necessarily serve us, and as adults, we kind of keep those things going. And and some of those things are quite painful, really. Those things that keep us stuck, those money blocks that keep us stuck. And the idea is as you peel back the layers and you reveal more, some of it's deep, and it is kind of hurtful to uncover those things. But when it's the beauty of this kind of journey is that the layers as they are uncovered is actually, as you kind of learn from those things that you find out, those beliefs, and you kind of start to declutter them, you'd start to turn those painful moments or those painful learnings into wisdom. And I think that's the beauty of life, actually, is our journey is to become wise.
Yes.
And so any of these challenges, these money challenges or money blocks we have, is really a call to become wise.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of the journey, I think.
Well, as I transition from mother to crone in these years that I'm in now, I love hearing you say that, because that it makes me feel empowered to make that transition.
Yes,
I'm not
absolutely.
feeling quite so clingy to me. I have been. My daughter's only 17, and independence is emerging. And one of the things, though, that really has come forward for me as a result of my money journey is to discover I'm going to cry, impact on my kids.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Those beliefs that we have, and what we say, and we don't mean to.
Yeah. I really get that, Danny. Yeah. Yeah.
So how do we change them? I know you can. I know you can, because I have been.
Yes.
How do you change them? So if we were working with someone like you, Lisa-Maree, because I think really we want to be able, really, we're in business now. We're not in business in 3 years. We're in business now. We need to clear these blocks so that we can be open to receive it. So I think that we kind of have to supercharge our progress, and we need to look at getting some help with this.
Yes.
And a person like you, Lisa-Maree, who is so eloquent and brilliant about this. By the way, when is your book coming out? Let me.
Yes. It's on the list.
I could show you how to make that faster. Anyway, we'll do that another time. Next week is book week. Stay tuned. I've actually interviewed Susanna Perez, who's a book coach, who's going to talk to us about self-publishing and how to actually do it quickly.
Oh, good. Nice.
And it helps to establish your credibility and authority and blah, blah. Anyway, besides the point, that's next week. So how would, in your words, how would working with a coach be beneficial compared to trying to take this journey alone?
Yeah, well, it's interesting because, I'm working with a couple of people at the moment. I'm working with someone who's in Africa, actually, and she's
Oh,
one of the first
cool.
female civil engineers,
Oh,
which I'm
neat.
so impressed with. And, even someone who goes to university and has, obviously made this significant achievement. It comes back to belonging and belonging to the family, and what also comes down through the generations in terms of what happens in your family. The kind of beliefs that you develop, as we've talked about. And, there's some simple processes that I'm doing with her at the moment, which really come from NLP.
Okay.
But also, I also work with family systems work, which is kind of like is known as the new psychology, because
Okay.
it's transformational NLP, and it's also very, very deep.
Okay.
It works on the unconscious mind and it works on the conscious mind, and it brings both of those into alignment. And because, in the unconscious, we have all these sabotaging behaviors, and the unconscious is saying, I want this. And then the unconscious is saying, sorry, you're not ready for it, or your nervous system cannot handle it. Yeah,
not gonna do it.
Exactly. And the nervous system is the key factor in clearing beliefs and upgrading your mindset. And that's one of the key things that needs to be worked with. And it needs to be given a certain amount of honor and respect as well, because it keeps you safe.
Right.
And so I work with people using those processes on the unconscious and the conscious mind, bringing that into alignment. And I also work on deeper levels with transformation in terms of like creative processes as well. And using ancient tools, ancient techniques that come from art therapy, which is the creative process. And that's like, that's getting a lot of
a little near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, exactly. Because, when you're doing this kind of work, sometimes it's a little bit like, oh, I can't quite look at this. And doing an art process really helps someone to kind of go deep into the unconscious in a really quick way, but in a way that actually is very nurturing. So I combine those things.
And really, so on day 5, we're actually doing a vision board. And when you say that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I unconsciously chose to do that.
Yes.
And again, the whole art therapy thing, my background, teaching children to, take risks, make mistakes, have fun, learn from blah, blah, using art. I didn't even consciously realize, oh my gosh, it was like this, here's the physical, right? And it allows you to connect to that unconscious, which is what this is all about. Oh, that's
absolutely. Yeah.
Myself a little.
And I love a good vision board, I have to say.
Yes. Do you like digital, or do you like
I'm
physical?
more like hands-on cutting.
Me too.
Yeah. I think that's
touchy.
Actually, yes, correct. Your hands are so important in that process, which kind of gets lost on the digital side.
It does a little bit. But here's what the nice thing is about digital. Well, I suppose you could still take a photograph of your vision board and put it as, but a digital, I did a poll not that long ago, and somebody said, I use Pinterest. And I was like, oh my gosh, why wouldn't I think of that? I was one of the early adopters for Pinterest. Why wouldn't I think of that? Anyway, brilliant idea. So I had to know, what was the other question here? So how do we change them? So in terms of working with a coach again, how long? So we've already established this is a bit of a lifelong journey. So if I were considering working with a coach, would I then be saying to myself, oh my gosh, I'm never going to stop working with a coach? Or is there kind of like, no, we're going to work together for this time, because then there's actually a period of time of reflection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, life is a lifelong journey.
And
so that's kind of a given.
I like that though.
Yeah, exactly. So working with a coach can have like an end date, of course, because it depends on how long someone wants to work with a coach. Some of my clients work with me for 6 months. So, I have some people who actually have stayed with me for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And because we keep peeling back the layers. And, one client I've got at the moment we've spent a lot of time solidifying his foundation in terms of like just getting his nervous system ready to actually be able to expand and to actually get his foundation sorted in terms of goal setting and starting to build a track record of success as well. Because, you know, he'd go ahead and then the nervous system would kick in. Oh, I can't have this next step. And so we have to work with that. And so it just takes a while to actually make that nervous system get really comfortable and feel safe to go to the next level. And you know, he's been with me for a couple of years, and we had a session yesterday. I'm like, I'm so proud of him because he's so committed to his journey, and he's just about to go to the very big levels. And this is amazing to just witness that, and how ready he is, and how like willing he is, and to step into the unknown and to see where that takes him. And I'm like so excited for where he's actually going to be going next, because it's going to be huge. Yeah, it's really good.
I love those kinds of success stories. Love them. Wonderful.
Yeah.
So really, you didn't get these beliefs overnight. Don't expect them to disappear overnight.
Exactly.
That would be an unrealistic expectation.
Absolutely.
This is a process.
Yes, definitely. But, you know, sometimes, you know, some people, as I said, might want a short period of time. And like, you know, sometimes they're here for a particular block and they want to kind of like work on that and develop some goals. So, you know, some people do want just a specific time period as well. So I kind of follow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's some flexibility. Now, do you work with people one-to-one only, or do you also do group?
Okay, so I generally, I work a lot one-to-one. However, I do have my Money Alchemy program, which is a 12-week program. Would you like me to tell you a bit about that? Or
12-week program? No, I'm just joking.
Yeah,
do you know about Alcoholics Anonymous? I don't know if they have that in Australia, but it's a 12-week program. So it's not a 12-week, it's a 12-step, but it just made me giggle. That's all. There are also 12 universal laws, right? So there you go. 12 is a prevalent number.
It is.
12 is one of those numbers, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yes, please do tell us about that. I think that would be, I'd love to hear about both, actually.
Okay, sure. All right. Well, you know, a lot of people are unconsciously repelling money. And part of that can be because their family ideas about money is stopping them from allowing it in. And there's a big thing about, you know, belonging with our family. So if, you know, a lot of people are concerned about earning more money than their parents. And so that's quite challenging. So they'll stop it coming in for that reason, or they'll repel it or find ways to get rid of it. But a lot of the time they've been wanting to increase their income for years, but they hit this ceiling that they can't get past for a variety of reasons. So, you know, I designed this Alchemy of Money program because I wanted to help people increase their income. And to, you know, increasing income is like, it's closer than you think, really. And it's just about clearing those layers, clearing those limiting beliefs, and decluttering and upgrading your mindset. So essentially we spend 12 weeks together exploring your relationship with money, clearing your money blocks. We look at what your money story is. And we also look at how to rewrite that money story so people can take control of their finances.
Beautiful. So that's all. In our workbook, there's actually a page that's a little bit like a let's reframe.
Yeah.
So that works well. There you go. Look at good exercise. So that's good. So then if it's 12 weeks with you in a group setting, and so how would somebody go about getting enrolled in that with you? Do you want them to have a conversation with you first, or like do you have a process that you take people through before you let them in your program? Or I'm selective. I assume everybody else is selective. Sorry.
I agree. I think, you know, I essentially aspire to 100% success rate, and that's something that I want to continue with. So I like to work with people who are committed to their own growth and committed to their own success. And, you know, I think doing this work requires that. And also it requires an investment in themselves as well. So, this is a really complete practical program, and it has over 30 audio recordings.
Okay.
And then we actually do a weekly mastermind group.
Okay.
And there's also some workbooks that people can download and complete in the comfort of their own homes. So, it's really designed for people who are like entrepreneurs, investors, business owners, and professionals who want to shift from like this scarcity mindset and stress around money to feeling in control, empowered, abundant, and worthy of money. So that's the key goals there. Okay. So I like to basically, at the moment it's starting in the 1st of August.
Okay.
And I like to, so in the meantime, people can go on the VIP wait list.
Okay.
When the doors open, and we can also do a complimentary clarity call to see if it's the right fit for them.
Okay. And so if they wanted to talk more or, connect with you more about that, I'll make sure that you are tagged on this video so that they can actually just click on you.
Yeah, great.
Would you prefer that they send you a DM, or would you prefer that they send you an email? Is there a link that they should follow?
Yes. So I have like a booking system. So if they'd like a complimentary clarity call, which goes for 60 minutes, and we can essentially have a chat about where they are and where they'd like to be and how to close the gap. We basically look in that about, identifying some primary subconscious blocks. And then we look at like what's needed to move ahead of that. And then that's where we can see whether it's the right fit for them in terms of like that program being the right opportunity for them.
All right. And may I ask the approximate investment, if you don't like saying the actual number? Some people don't.
Okay.
Some people say, it's mid 4 figures. And I'm like, okay, you could just say it's $5,000.
Okay. I think that this is really quite reasonable.
We're going to talk right afterward about what the return is on that investment, because this is the important element. This is an investment. This is an investment in future literal money returns.
Yes, absolutely.
This isn't just I'm going to feel better about myself. I'm actually going to get money as a result of this.
Yes, absolutely. And, I will say it, the investment is 1997, and there's payment plans available too.
Holy cow, that's a deal.
I think it's quite reasonable.
It's a deal.
And also I want to make it so that it's achievable for people. And I will say that, I am the mindset coach for the International Academy of Wealth, and I did coach the founder of that organization. And he's kindly given me a lovely testimonial, which is that he did earn $200,000 in 1 week after doing 6 months coaching with me. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want, see, but this is it. This is what this is all about, is how, if we have something happening in here that's actually stopping that from happening, opportunities are all around us every day.
Absolutely.
And it's these beliefs that are inside us that actually make us go, I don't see it. I don't see it. What are you talking about? It's not there. I don't see it. It's like blinders that we put on.
Yes.
Taking blinders off makes us go, oh my gosh, look at that pile of money over there. Like in essence, that's what it is. Am I right?
Absolutely. And a mentor of mine said some years ago, and it's always stuck with me, there's $13 trillion out there ready for the taking. All we have to do is turn up and say yes.
That's a lot of, and if I'm not mistaken, somebody just told me that the US printed a whole bunch of money just when Obama was still in. So apparently there's even more than that.
It's probably even more since when he told me that. And the thing about that too is like, what you're talking about with having those blinkers on is that reticulating activated system, that actually creates the blinkers, and the limiting beliefs are the blinders. Yep. So when you start decluttering those, that's when you can say yes more easily.
Yes, absolutely. Well, today what we are going to be doing is we're actually going to be saying, pick a number. This is my goal, pick a number. How important, Lisa, is visualizing an actual end result number goal to making it possible and making it happen?
I actually believe that to be quite a critical element to it. And the reason is that once you visualize, you're actually invoking your imagination. And, you know, there's a quote, imagine, you know, you imagine your problems into being, you can also imagine them out and the solutions coming forward. So
that's going up in the group.
I'll actually get the correct quote because I haven't quoted it.
Should I put Lisa-Maree on the bottom of that? That's a beautiful
And the thing
one.
is yeah, and like, you know, you can actually imagine whatever you like, and you know, using your imagination is inspiring. It's spirit in action. And so that's when you get really excited about what you're imagining for your future, that's when it comes into being. And I noticed you put something from Esther Hicks, and it's all about, you know, the law of attraction. You can in a minute, you can make a decision to change your life. And using your imagination is the key component to
I love that.
Creating that change.
I recently worked for a couple who, when I first met them, they told me that. You can
really
just like, oh yeah.
Yes.
When I think of woo, and I think of a spectrum, you know, here's the people that have no woo, and here's the people that like, do you have anything but woo? They were do you have anything but woo? So they were like on that far end this way, really advanced in their spirituality compared to my progress on my journey.
Yes.
Or a different path. Let's just say a different path. Mine perhaps was more religious, theirs was more esoteric. But when they said that to me, you can just decide. I thought, are you on crack? But you can.
You absolutely can. Your life can change in a split second. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I did it last fall, and I could never have imagined hearing those words for the first time, that you can make the decision to, like, literally overnight, like literally,
yeah,
I'm not that person, I am that. Kind of a quantum leap is absolutely possible.
Absolutely.
You have to believe you can.
Exactly.
You have to believe you can. And once you do,
yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, I think that it would be an honor and a privilege to work with you, Lisa. You are so eloquent. And
thank you.
Just
so kind.
Just beautiful, beautiful things to say. I feel so aligned to you right now. We didn't even prepare for this really, other than a couple. And I feel like, oh my gosh, you're like feeding me. Oh my gosh, I'm feeding you. It's like,
absolutely.
This is so easy.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I loved actually when I first came across your group. I was like, listening to you on your FB lives, I was like, oh my God, she's speaking directly to me. Like, I really love like what you're about. Awesome. And I was like, yeah, I definitely felt aligned with what you're about. Definitely.
Wonderful. Well, it's my absolute pleasure to just, you know, kind of like Atlas lifts the world. I just love to elevate other women and just show off their talents and their just amazingness, because I have a very similar opinion to one you may have already heard before. We need to get more money, which equals power, into the hands of women in particular, but into the hands of people who are going to use it as a force of good.
Absolutely. So true. So true. And the time is now, really.
The timing is absolutely now.
Yeah, exactly. We can't wait.
So this is part of what has inspired me to actually create this challenge in the first place. Is just about, let's empower ourselves. And if we can understand that actually some of these barriers that are happening to us are actually of our own construction.
Yeah.
So easy to take down if only we just take the first step.
Absolutely.
That first step toward it. And today, that's what we're actually going to do. We're going to be talking about what are the stories. And you've helped us to uncover a few of them. Money doesn't grow on trees.
Yes.
Money is the root of evil.
Yeah.
We talked about envy when somebody else is, how'd you get that? Like that whole notion. Have you ever done it would be the next question. I've received, have I ever done it? Oh, shame. Yes, I have. There's no shame.
Yeah.
And I think this is the really important part about all of this, Lisa-Maree. Would you agree that the past, it exists back there? Well, if you think of time as a continuum, it exists back there.
Yeah.
You can do nothing about it. You did the best you could with what you knew at the time, right? You know something different now. There's no reason to look back and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. I'm so ashamed. It's, wow, look at me having the opportunity to learn. Look at me having the opportunity to expand and grow and move
Yes.
past that, because that was holding me back. Look at me
Yes.
breaking through the wall of all of these limiting, like the Kool-Aid man. Sorry, I get vision. I am a very visual person. Like, oh yeah, guy busting through the wall. Oh, but I think that's really what this is all about. It's about helping. It's about this collective elevation of our consciousness,
Yes.
so that we can have a more abundant and prosperous world. So
Absolutely.
I love that. That's exactly what you are all about.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, abundance is our birthright, and
Yes.
it's time for us to reclaim that, because we've been giving it away.
Yes.
And part of the empowerment process is just to reclaim all that we deserve, and to know that we're worth having exactly what we want.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things. People have so many secret desires that never get realized, and just actually uncovering those secret desires and bringing them into fruit, making those dreams and desires come true.
Yeah.
Seeing them manifest on the earth today, knowing that they actually can come into your reality. It doesn't have to stay as a secret. Let's make it visible, and let's all see the greatness within each of us. Yeah.
Well, you've actually led into tomorrow's subject, which is actually about manifestation exercises. And
Yes.
my specific one that is like foolproof almost. And ironically, it is actually using your imagination.
Oh, good. Beautiful.
So it is an imagination exercise that we're going to be doing. So you've like unknowingly led us right into it and supported that this is a really valuable exercise. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Nice. I like that.
I'm so grateful. Thank you so
Yeah,
much,
beautiful.
Lisa-Maree.
You're welcome.
So guys, so go ahead.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Okay. I was just going to say, so guys, Lisa-Maree Boticelli, Lisa-Maree with 2 E's Boticelli. She's here on Facebook. She also has a wonderful group,
Nourish and Flourish.
Nourish and Flourish. Thank you. Am I thinking of somebody else's group at the moment? Because I know somebody else who has a flourish in their group. Nourish and Flourish is Lisa's group. Absolutely go and join her group, follow her or friend her on Facebook. And if you'd like to know more information about the Alchemy of Money,
Alchemy of Money, yep.
Alchemy of Money masterclass with Lisa, get in touch with her, or working one-on-one with her. As you can see, great results. That's a pretty incredible return on investment, $200,000. Now, granted, he's a 6-figure earner to begin with, probably a 7-figure earner to begin with. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Everything is relative. Yep. Is it a lot of money? I don't know, compared to what? It's not a lot of money compared to $1 billion, is it? But it's a lot of money compared to a penny.
Yep, true.
So there you go. And this is why specificity matters so much. All right. Thank you so much, Lisa-Maree. I know it's late over there in Australia, or it certainly is getting there. So I'm going to let you go so that you can have a good sleep. And
thank you so much, Danielle.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank
Guys,
you.
Have a wonderful day. I will be back in a little bit to talk about what the actual exercise is today. Thanks so much.